and this is my experience as a burned out woman from the corporate world. For years, I've given so much of myself to my jobs. I've grown my career as a successful woman in tech, and I'm proud of what I've done. But it's been at the expense of myself, my health, my life. I know I'm not the only one who's ended up here. It's scary to admit these things to yourself, and even scarier to talk about it here. But by hearing my feelings, my struggles, and reflections, my hope is that you can gain some perspective and healing alongside me. Join me as I take time to focus on myself, figure out who I really am, and learn how to live life in a more balanced and healthy way. It's early, not that early, but I'm still tired. They're driving me to the airport. I feel like I haven't talked about my feelings in a long time, so I feel like this is gonna be a surprise, but yeah, I'm going on a little trip to go visit my friend Lucy in Cornwall in the UK. So I feel like the past couple of weeks I've just been feeling really, really rubbish. But I would start with like feeling really low and irritable, and then just so much anxiety. I think it's just all the anxiety and processing of all the tough emotions from the past years and years and years of stress that are kind of coming up. And so I thought maybe just getting out of my comfort zone, I don't know, not comfort zone, getting out of my environment would help. I don't know. Somehow I was convinced into this by Lucy and my therapist. They both thought it would be a good idea. I don't know. It's weird. I've been so anxious. I think I've said this before, but I feel like I knew how burned out and exhausted I was. That's why I quit my job. But then, oh my gosh, this sky is so beautiful. Wow. My sweaty arm. I realized how burned out and exhausted I was. That's why I quit my job. But somehow I thought, I'm like, well, I quit my job and then I do nothing and then I feel better really quickly. I knew that wasn't the case, but somehow I was still surprised when all these tough emotions came up. So it's been hard. I think when you're in it, when you feel so rubbish and so anxiety ridden, like when the anxiety is just like gripping at your chest, then it just feels like it's all encompassing and you kind of can't see out of it. So I've been trying to relax and rest and leave space for those emotions, and also trying to do things, small things that make me feel a little bit better, like my knitting and going for runs, going for walks, hanging out with you lots, and apparently now going on a big trip just for a week. So I'll send you lots of pictures.
Love you.
This footbridge that we can't see at all.
So this is the Cornwall River, and right now it's high tide, probably the highest the tide gets. You can see a very small, there it is, little sign in the middle of the river. Under that is a footbridge. So normally when the tide is out, this is all sand, and there's a tiny, tiny, tiny strip of river that runs through the middle. You can walk out on this footbridge over the river and all the way to the other side of the whole Cornwall.
That's so cool. And then there's like the little steps that go down. That's so pretty. travel day yesterday, and the day before was brutal but also fine. I was having so much travel anxiety that I hadn't had ever or in a really long time, because I'm used to traveling and traveling by myself, but I was just in a heightened anxious state and everything was stressing me out. But luckily once I got on the second plane, it was one plane to Montreal, one plane to Heathrow, underground to Paddington, train from Paddington to Newquay with one changeover in the way. So a lot. It took, I don't know, 20 hours or something. But it was fine. I figured out exactly what to do at every step of the way, and somehow some of the anxiety started to melt away that was in my body, that was squeezing at my chest. So I don't know, maybe it's getting out of my environment was really good for me. Well, we'll see if it comes back, and that's okay. I was just feeling so rubbish last week, so much anxiety in my body. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't mean I'm getting sick. I got the British, not treat, supplement, Baraka. So I put that in my water. Oh, I should have that again this morning. I'll get that out so I don't get sick. But yeah, I think it's been so far good for me to get out of my environment. And that's really the point of coming here. So I'll drink my coffee, look at this view, not push it too much. All right, Baraka time. I don't know what it is. No other brand seems to really compare. I'm doing half a tablet because this is a small glass of water. But yeah, this will absolutely make sure I'm fine, without a doubt. Not sponsored. So I keep talking about my knitting and how I like to knit to calm down. And I made this sweater vest. And so the knitting project that I've brought with me is another sweater vest in this yarn, which, as you can tell, is very different. And I knit a sweater in this yarn. So I apparently only knit things in medium gray. I'd like to branch out, but it's really hard to find other tones of gray. So yeah, we'll take that to therapy. Maddie doesn't like change. Anyways, that's what I've been knitting, and also it's what I'm wearing because it's really, really cozy. Cozy day to explore Newquay.
If you're not too hungry, let's go for a walk.
Sounds good.
And then we'll end up at a cafe that has cakes and teas and foods.
I love cake.
Excellent.
Perfect. Let's go.
I think I know how to get us there. These boulders have just appeared here. I think that used to be covered by sand up to a very significant part, maybe like 3/3 or 3/4 feet. But now the sand's been washed out to sea by the storm, so now they're back.
That's the power of the sea and storms. Take a picture. We're going on an adventure. Uh-oh. Shall we take our shoes off and go wading?
Yes,
I mean... So pretty. Just sitting down to a little coffee and cake and a little chat. So that's the little point that we walked around and rolled up our pants, and they still get very wet. That's okay. Totally worth it to get our feet in the water and come here and get the aftermath of lunch and cake. Anyways, we're going for a nice little walk. We walked all the way up this little, what do you call it, a point? They call it the headland. And we're just having a nice little walk and talking about life and the future and the injustices of the world. I'm just catching up after not having known each other all the time. I feel like a close best friend. It's true. Thanks, let us see you next. Alright, back to therapy. The next morning was an absolutely beautiful day. I woke up after a surprisingly good sleep, better than I'd had in a while. Maybe getting out of my environment and spending time with my oldest best friend was exactly what I'd needed. Watching the waves over coffee, I decided to go down to the beach. Lucy was working, so I borrowed her wetsuit, grabbed a boogie board, and watched the 5 or so minutes down to the beach next to the harbor. I had an absolute blast in the waves. Fresh salt air, sun, and splashing in the waves is always going to make you feel better. Okay, back out. Basically, I went for a little wander and it was such nice weather today. And then it started chucking it down, so I got soaked. I needed a dry sweater. Anyways, yeah, so I spent lots of exercise today, lots of swimming in the ocean, which honestly is one of the best things for my mental health. So that was really, really good. So I'm feeling so much less anxious. But the really weird thing is that now I feel like my brain is just really foggy and slow, and maybe that's just because it's so tired. It was overworked from being so anxious. And now that it's not anxious anymore, it's actually taking a bit of a break, I hope. Anyways, those are my musings, but yeah, really nice. It was gorgeous weather. You can't tell now it's cloudy, but yeah, lots of ocean swimming. And now I'm going to the grocery store because I love UK grocery stores, mostly for the chocolate biscuits and the berries. For some reason, the berries are better in the UK. So yeah, going to the grocery store, I'm going to get chocolate biscuits, Percy Pigs, berries. I feel like there's something else. Junk. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see what falls into my basket. Oh yeah, Tony's chocolate only, which also you can't get in Canada. So even more treats. Okay, that's also good for the mental health. Also, one more thing is that whenever I cross a British street, this is obviously North American problems, I never know which way to look, so I end up looking like every way, every single way, and then I just like give up and cross the street anyways, because I'm like, I don't know. Pretty sure that's a thing all North Americans deal with. On my last full day in Cornwall, Lucy took the day off and we did a day trip into Padstow, a little village about an hour bus ride away. It was a double-decker bus, and we were lucky enough to sit at the very front seats at the very top. It was one of those little outings where the journey was the destination, and we used the bus ride to catch up on all of life. I was able to share my career experiences, my fears for the future, and my hopes and dreams that I get too embarrassed to talk to people about. There's something about a car journey that really encourages you to get deep. On top of that, it was a beautiful scenic drive down some harrowing, narrow country roads with other little villages dotted in.
So this is called Morgan Wharf, and apparently the house being built on the hill is going to be Kate Blanchett's house. And apparently, Jason Momoa has a home here. I don't know which number home it is, but has a home here and has been known to be seen walking his dog.
Wasn't he that superhero who, like, Aquaman?
Yes, he was Aquaman.
So I guess it's fitting that he would be able to run into the ocean at any given time.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to be close to the sea.
spontaneous trip to Cornwall. I was in such a heightened state of anxiety that I almost didn't go when Lucy gave me the impromptu invitation to go visit her for a week. It wasn't in my plan. and I was suddenly scared of everything. I was overanalyzing everything. I was in a really rough spot, but I'm so proud of myself for having gone. It turns out I really did need a change of scene. I needed to get out of my environment. I needed my oldest best friend. So yeah, it was a good thing for me, but it was tough. It was tough to get there. Not only did getting out of my environment give me some perspective on my life, but it also gave me some confidence in myself and my independence that I just really needed at this moment in time. So, lesson learned, when in doubt, always take the trip to the seaside. I hope you found this mini-series helpful, where I take a break from my stressful career and work on recovering from burnout.